Hello again, everyone. Joe Ramsden back here talking today a little bit about debate and discussion in parliamentary procedure. So part 3, today we're going to talk about an introduction to debate and discussion, some of the general rules of discussion, and a little bit of structure and how you can best create your debates. So why debate? Debate gives us the power to share ideas and provide some support to any claims that we might make within a meeting. It allows for us to reaffirm or give support to any given motion or express our ideas if we do not think an idea is a good one. And debate can be applied to all debatable motions, as we discussed previously, but there are certain rules or limits that must be followed. So now we're going to look at some of the general rules of this and some of the limits that we just previously mentioned. If a motion is debatable, in most situations, you may debate twice per motion per day, but try to limit each debate to 10 minutes apiece. This rule can be altered when the motion to limit or extend debate is in force, the previous question has been passed, or the bylaws or official rules state otherwise. This is really important to understand because you can't go into a meeting with like a scripted outline of what you want to say with everything and have like speeches that are prepared that are like 15 to 20 minutes each. You want to be considerate of your fellow assembly members and make sure that your debate follows all of the guidelines and rules that your organization sets forth. And you also want to make sure that you follow all rules of limiting and extending debates and previous questions that might be on the table as well, so that you're not breaking those because you might be subject to some point of orders if you do not. So next up, some more rules. The chair should try to alter between those who are in favor or against motions as much as possible. So for instance, if I have a motion, I move that we sell oranges, and Bobby is really in favor of this motion. He's gung-ho about doing this, and he really wants everybody to sell oranges. And Krista, on the other hand, does not want to sell oranges, and she thinks that apples would be a better idea and is strongly against the motion but doesn't want to amend the motion in any way. The chair should do his best to alternate conversations between Bobby and Krista so that everybody's voices are heard and that there is a little bit of dynamic between both sides and that they're heard equally. After a debatable motion is made, the maker has first rights to debate. So let's say Bobby was the one who actually made that motion. Bobby would be the one who gets the first rights to speak on that motion to support the reasons why, maybe the motive behind him actually giving the motion to the assembly in the first place. Should that member not rise, another member may debate first. So going back to that little scenario that I just gave, if Bobby didn't rise, Krista could have spoke first to discuss her views on the motion in place of Bobby. So now we're going to go into some debate structure. If you previously recall, Dr. Swenson in class talked about impromptu speaking. And when you're debating a parliamentary procedure, most of your speeches or your discussions should be impromptu in nature. You're most likely going to go into the meeting not really knowing where the debate and discussion is going to go, so you're going to have to think on your feet with the resources and materials and previous discussions provided to make a coherent debate come together. So one way that I tell, when I was coaching Parley procedure last year, one method that I used and told my kids to follow was the STAR method. And we're going to go through this right now, so just keep this in your back pocket. Next time you're in a meeting, maybe consider using this method as a way to structure your debate. So the S in STAR stands for space. Do we have the space to accomplish this? So let's say that you have a motion and it's going to be restrictive of the space, and you're going to have a lot of room available to do this. It's like an outdoor event. Do you have the space or facilities necessary to do it? You should consider that when you're debating and discussing if you're running out of things to talk about or ideas. Time. This is also critical. This stands for the T in the STAR method. Do we have the time necessary to do this? If you don't have the time, it might not be in your organization's best interest to pass the motion. Air. I kind of made this one a little bit creative. Will we be able to communicate or use air about this motion with the community or absent members effectively? So is the motion so complex that we will not be able to effectively tell people what we're doing and the motives of our organization? Or, going back to the time, will we have enough time to communicate this event or this idea effectively within the limits of time? And finally, resources. Do we have the money or goods necessary to execute this motion effectively? So make sure that when you're talking about whether a motion should pass or fail, if you know that the resources are scarce, you're the treasurer, for example, and you know that you don't have the money to pass this motion or to financially support this motion, then maybe consider bringing that up. Something else that I like to talk about when you're structuring your debate, you should always start off with something to the extent of I am in favor of this motion or I am against this motion, and then go into the reasons why you're against or in favor of the motion. Give them specific details or examples of reasons why you want a motion to fail or pass, and maybe even incorporate those ethos, logos, and pathos just to really appeal to your fellow assembly members and make sure you're making eye contact with all of them as naturally as possible so that they're able to really connect with you as the speaker. And finally, make sure you end your debate reaffirming them with your previous discussion at the beginning when you say, I'm in favor or against this. Say, so I urge you to vote yes on the assembly, or call them to action in some way, shape, or form so that they know how to vote after listening to your speech or your discussion. While one debate does not need to cover all 4 of these areas, they should all be addressed at some point within the discussion of the assembly on a given motion. So just keep this in mind. So now we have some review questions as usual. What is the purpose of discussion? What are some general rules of discussion and parley procedure? Why is discussion important? And what is the STAR method and how should it be applied within your debates? So this is it for the debate in part 3 section. Hope you've enjoyed. Next up, we're going to be posting some potential demonstration videos about how to effectively combine the information that we've discussed previously about offices and the roles of parliamentary procedure and the main motions and the different types of motions, and finally debate. I'm going to upload a little bit of an example from some of our peers in this class and outside of this class of what a good demonstration of parliamentary procedure might look like. So until then, hope you have a great day, and thank you very much.